Have you ever looked around your home and wondered how things might go if something unexpected happened? A power outage, a medical emergency, or even a sudden storm? It's easy to think, I'll deal with it when it comes, especially when life feels stable. But when living alone in your senior years, a little preparation can make the difference between panic and peace of mind. It's not about worrying or expecting the worst. It's about building confidence and security into your everyday life so you can enjoy your independence with ease. Emergency preparedness might sound like something that belongs in a survival manual, but it's actually a series of small, thoughtful choices that fit neatly into your daily routine. And you don't need to overhaul your life or become an expert to do it. Today, we're going to talk about some practical ways to make sure you're protected, comfortable, and calm when life throws a curveball. These aren't complicated strategies. They're simple habits and setups that can quietly work behind the scenes, helping you feel safer in your own space. Let's start with something that's often overlooked: communication. When you live alone, staying connected can be a lifeline in more ways than one. Not just for companionship or check-ins, but for situations when reaching out quickly matters. You might want to make a habit of keeping your phone charged and within arm's reach, even at night. It can be a comforting thought, knowing that help is always just a call away. You could also consider getting a simple wearable alert device or setting up automatic daily check-ins with a trusted family member or friend. It's not about being watched, it's about being cared for, even from a distance. Now think about your space. Does everything you need feel accessible? If a sudden blackout happened, would you be able to move around your home without stumbling or struggling? One easy yet powerful change is keeping a flashlight in every room, preferably in the same spot, so you don't have to fumble in the dark. You might even keep one right by your bedside with fresh batteries, just in case. And if you haven't already, take a walk through your home and look for things that might become tripping hazards in a low-light situation: loose rugs, long cords, cluttered walkways. Clearing these out won't just help during emergencies, but every day too. Then there's the idea of a go-to emergency shelf or drawer. Not a big kit that gathers dust in a closet, but a small, well-thought-out space you check every couple of months. It could hold a few essentials like a working flashlight, a battery-powered radio, backup chargers, and a list of emergency contacts. If medications are part of your routine, you might include a backup supply stored safely with your doctor's guidance. Having these things ready and in one place isn't about expecting disaster. It's about having quiet reassurance within reach. Preparing isn't about fear, it's about freedom. When you live alone later in life, knowing that you've taken care of the basics gives you more confidence to focus on the things you love. Whether it's tending to your garden, enjoying a good book, or hosting a cozy dinner with friends, you deserve to live without the nagging worry of what if hanging in the back of your mind. So with communication tools in place, lighting and layout checked, and a small emergency stash started, you've already laid the foundation for something incredibly valuable: peace of mind. When you think about what brings comfort during uncertain moments, one thing often stands out: familiarity. Knowing where things are, knowing how they work, and having routines that make life feel manageable. That sense of predictability becomes especially valuable during an emergency, when stress and confusion can cloud judgment. One of the most reassuring steps you can take is making sure the tools you might need are not just nearby, but also easy to understand and ready to go. You shouldn't have to fumble through pages of instructions when the power goes out or scroll through endless contacts during a moment of panic. That's why creating a simple contact system can be such a game changer. It could be as straightforward as keeping a handwritten list by the phone with names and numbers of family, neighbors, and emergency services. You might already have these saved in your phone, but when emotions are running high, there's something steadying about glancing at a list and knowing exactly who to call and in what order. If you use a mobile phone, you can even label contacts clearly like daughter, emergency, or neighbor key holder, so they're easy to spot under pressure. It's not just about convenience. It's about taking control of a situation before it ever begins. Another area that can be quietly powerful is the role of routines. Not just daily habits like taking your vitamins or watering your plants, but routines that quietly double as safety checks. For instance, before going to bed, you might already walk through the home to turn off lights or check the front door. Adding one small action, like glancing at the weather forecast or making sure your mobile phone is charged, can make a huge difference without adding any real effort. These little rituals create a rhythm that keeps you ahead of the game without feeling like a burden. Let's talk about medications for a moment, because for many living alone later in life, they're a regular part of the day. It's easy to assume everything will go smoothly, but disruptions like a delayed pharmacy delivery or unexpected travel can make things tricky fast. That's why it can be helpful to always keep a small extra supply, enough for a few days, tucked away in a clearly marked container. You never want to find yourself in a position where you're low on something vital during a time when getting help is harder than usual. Even something as small as labeling your pill organizer with times and dates can prevent confusion if you're ever tired or flustered. Of course, emergencies aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're quiet moments of uncertainty, a strange noise in the middle of the night, a knock at the door from someone you weren't expecting. Having a plan for these low-grade, everyday surprises is just as important as preparing for bigger events. Maybe it's agreeing with a friend to check in every morning with a quick text, or simply keeping a small motion-activated light in the hallway for nighttime reassurance. These are small things, but they quietly build a layer of calm that's always working for you in the background. There's something deeply empowering about taking these steps, not from a place of fear, but from a place of self-respect. Your safety matters. Your peace of mind matters. And your independence is something worth protecting with just a little extra care and planning. It doesn't take much to feel more secure. It just takes intention. And once those pieces are in place, they don't just protect you in emergencies. They bring more confidence to your everyday life. There's something incredibly comforting about knowing that your home itself is working with you, not against you, when things go a little sideways. And one of the most meaningful ways to reinforce that feeling is by thinking ahead about how your environment can support you during moments when you might not be thinking clearly. If a fire alarm goes off in the middle of the night, or there's a strange smell coming from the kitchen, you don't want to rely on luck or instinct alone. Having clearly marked exits, doors that open easily, and items like a fire extinguisher in a known location can make all the difference. Not because you expect the worst to happen, but because you deserve to feel capable and prepared no matter what the moment brings. Even things like keeping keys in a consistent spot or placing a flashlight near the front door can help you feel a little more grounded. If you've ever stood at your door with your hands full, searching for your keys in the dark, you know how quickly a simple situation can turn frustrating. Emergencies magnify that frustration, so having a home setup that removes those little stressors can help keep your mind clear when it matters most. It's about turning your living space into a kind of silent partner, one that supports you when you need it most. Another powerful layer of preparedness has to do with your broader community. Even when you live alone, that doesn't mean you have to navigate uncertain situations completely by yourself. Whether it's a friendly neighbor, a trusted delivery driver, or the local pharmacist who knows you by name, these everyday connections can quietly become part of your safety net. Letting one or two people know that you live on your own, and maybe even asking them to check in from time to time, can be a comforting step. You're not giving up independence by doing that. You're strengthening it with a little backup. And then there's the role of mindset, something that often gets overlooked in conversations about emergency planning. Staying calm, being able to breathe deeply, and reminding yourself that you've already done the work to be ready can make all the difference. You don't need to know how to handle every situation right now. You just need to know that you've created a foundation you can trust. That foundation gives you the freedom to move through life with less fear and more assurance, knowing you've built in the tools and systems that support your well-being. It's worth saying, too, that none of this is about trying to predict every possible outcome. Life has its twists and turns, and that's okay. What matters is knowing that you've done your part to prepare, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, too. That kind of quiet strength becomes especially powerful in your senior years, when the goal isn't just safety, it's living fully, confidently, and with dignity.